From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Save more on Parker House, Ashley, and Coaster. Furniture and Mattress 86, across from the Churn Creek Post Office on Merchant Street, Reading.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Meteorologist Mike Krueger. It's your Friday morning forecast. What do you know? The weekend is almost here. Let's take a look at some of the rains that we did see yesterday, and as expected, where was most of the rain? Yeah, the North Coast, especially out towards Del Norte County, northern Humboldt County, and basically nothing as you head east, although some of the higher elevations did see some light rain as well. So here's what we can expect as we go into the weekend and next week. Cool and unsettled into Saturday. Now, most of the rain that we see will be today, and it's not going to be all that heavy for many of us. But Saturday, boy, it's just kind of be more of a nuisance than anything else. We'll take a closer look at that here in just a bit. But dry and warmer this weekend. Bigger warm up for your Monday and Tuesday, but maybe some rain by the middle to latter part of next week. But there are some pretty big discrepancies between the forecast models, some drier, some wetter. So things getting a little bit more iffy when it comes to that longer range forecast. We'll get into all of that a little bit later, but first let's take a look at your Krueger's Quickcast for your Friday, March 21st. We're going to be looking at, of course, that quick look at the forecast here for today. So let's take a look at what you can expect heading out the door this morning. Now, it looks really ominous, doesn't it? Look at all that rain. Look at all the rain snow mix out there. It will be a little wet. We're not going to be looking at a lot of rain for many of you. The coast is where we're expecting to see some of the heaviest rainfall, not only this morning, but even through the day. So you can see the cold front right here. It's clipping Northern California, and it's not really doing much for us. The winds really aren't even picking much out of this cold front. The bulk of the energy is up to the north of us. However, you see this big stream of moisture. It's an atmospheric river, and it's mainly been pointed to southern Oregon and extreme northern California, and that's why we've seen most of the rain in those areas. So looking at Futurecast this morning, pretty widespread, but one of the things you have to really take into account is the fact that it's all very light, with the exception of what we're seeing right up here, that heavier rainfall in Del Norte County, northern Humboldt, but just some light showers. You're driving to work this morning, getting the kids off to school, intermittent windshield wipers. It's not going to be very heavy. And you've got that light snow, say above 3,500, 4,000 feet. Now by midday, we're seeing things kind of breaking apart. Once again, though, where that moisture is pointed to, you've got the heavier rainfall in Del Norte County. Now, there are going to be a couple of weak disturbances. I mean, basically, it's going to be a little unsettled out there today. So mostly cloudy, a passing shower or two outside of the heavier rainfall that we're seeing here. But overall, that's where most of the rain is going to be, is the northwest. Now, taking you into Saturday, tonight, that is at 10 o'clock here, you can still see most of the rain and snow is kind of right here, Del Norte County, and then it kind of surrounds it as it goes into northern Humboldt, western Siskiyou, and northern Trinity, and drier for pretty much everyone else. Now, Saturday is going to be a much drier day, but still, again, it's going to linger around a bit, and you'll see that here in your deeper dive forecast. But hey, how about that? We saw 4 inches of fresh new snow yesterday out at the ski park. That puts it at 124 inches out at the summit depth. Groom and packed powder still out there, the conditions here. Road conditions are fairly clear on I-5 and Highway 89, but still probably some patchy ice spots, especially on the ski park highway. We're not going to see much more snow here on top of what we've already seen here, but yeah, maybe a couple more inches of snow here over the next 24 hours. No chain requirements out there this morning, including east of I-5, so yeah, that's great, but do be on the lookout for some of those patchy ice spots, especially for some of the higher elevations. So here's your forecast for today. Temperatures are going to be kind of hovering in the 60-degree mark for Reading, but you head south towards Chico, probably closer to the mid-60s for those daytime highs, and low 50s out along the coast here, and you can see a temperature about 47 for Alturas. Here's your 7-day outlook for the valley. So mainly morning showers today, okay, but we could see a passing sprinkle or light shower through the afternoon. Mainly dry on Saturday, and I say that because it's going to be mostly cloudy. There may be a passing sprinkle or maybe a light shower, but overall a dry day. Don't plan anything around rain. Plan it around it being dry, but still overcast and still looking at upper 60s for your daytime highs. But it's much warmer by Sunday and especially by Monday, Tuesday, and then it looks like maybe a chance for rain on Wednesday. And again, we'll talk about that in a little more detail in just a bit. Off and on chances for showers continue. Heavier rainfall today, not as heavy on Saturday for both the coast and inland. And I do expect drier conditions across the board by Sunday and into early next week. For Siskiyou, Modoc County, Eastern Mountains, your heaviest activity will be this morning, although I think through the day, places like Siskiyou County could still see those showers here throughout the afternoon. Saturday, mainly dry, and again I say that because there could be a passing sprinkle, and then Sunday we're entirely dry and warmer from Monday, Tuesday, with yes, that next chance for rain next Wednesday and Thursday. That's your Krueger's Quickcast. Before we get into the deeper dive, there's a free Weather NorCal app I want to tell you about. Just do me a favor, if you don't have it already, just go to your app store, search for Weather NorCal, make sure there's a space between Weather NorCal, download the app for free, check it out. If you don't like it, take it off your phone. That's always my advice, but I think you're going to like it. All right, so there it is, that stream of moisture heading right into Northern California. This is, by definition, I'm going to say it, and it's not a scare tactic. It's not to get clicks. It's not to get likes. It's to get you to understand that we've got a big river of moisture heading our way. And you know what I'm going to say. It's an atmospheric river because that's exactly what it is, folks. And you see it's mainly pointed over southern Oregon, but it has been impacting extreme Northern California, and in particular, Del Norte, Northern Humboldt, and Western Siskiyou counties, where we've seen the bulk of the rain so far and will see the bulk of the rain over the next 24 hours. See what's happening? We've got the widespread precipitation across the region. I say that because it's very light. As I mentioned earlier, your morning commute, it won't be all that heavy in the valley. We're not looking at very heavy snowfall in the mountains either. It will have minimal impacts on your mountain travel, but always check those latest road conditions. As of right now, no chain requirements. At 8 o'clock this morning, some light snow, and I think most of the accumulation, which will be light at that, will be above 4,000 feet. Okay, then we take a look at the coast, and you're seeing that rain. Now, let's take you to midday. There's the heavier rainfall. Del Norte, Western Siskiyou, maybe Northern Trinity County, kind of this area right here is where we're seeing the heaviest rainfall. But this, fairly dry. Now, again, you see we do have a little bit of activity in Modoc County and even Siskiyou County, but once again, it's going to be fairly light. We take you into the afternoon today. There it is, fairly dry for the valley, mostly cloudy, fairly dry to the east, but yeah, a little bit of activity, Modoc, but look at Siskiyou, still seeing those scattered showers out there. Once again, nothing terribly heavy. This is where we're seeing that heavier amount of rainfall. Okay, and then we go into Saturday morning. Look what's happening. You see this? There it is, northwest, pretty dry for pretty much everyone else, right? Or maybe a stray snow flurry out towards Modoc County tomorrow morning. But then we go into Saturday afternoon. You see that? Look where most of it is. But this at this point is going to be fairly light. It's not going to be anything that significant. But you see these little dots of green? That's the passing sprinkle and light shower I was talking about here that we could see for some of us here, including the valley. It's not out of the question, but I think the better chances will be in the mountains Saturday afternoon. Then, finally, we're doing it. We're getting a break, folks. We're finally getting that break. The nuisance of even Saturday is going to be one of those things where it's like, all right, come on, sunshine. Come on, dry temperatures. Come on, warmer temperatures. They're getting here, and they'll be here by the time we get into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. All right, so there's a look at the rainfall totals. Remember what I was talking about where most of that rain is? Yeah, Del Norte, Northern Humboldt, even Northern Trinity County and Western Siskiyou County. That's the bullseye right here. And some decent amounts. I think it might be overdoing it there for Garberville. In fact, probably way overdoing it. I'm not quite sure why it's showing 2 inches, but most of it's going to be in Del Norte County. But there you can see, I mean, yeah, maybe some light accumulating rain here out towards the north end of the valley, but most likely not to the south. And light amounts heading off to the east as well. Now, snow, it's not just light rain for most of us, minus, of course, the coast, but we're also looking at light snow. So it's not going to amount to much, should you even see any of that light accumulation. So the ridge of high pressure, that's the dominant feature here for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Now, you'll notice we've got some activity developing. See this area of low pressure right here? This is the storm I've got my eyes on. Now, this model that we're looking at right now is the American Forecast Model. It's called the GFS. Look what it's doing on Wednesday and Thursday. It's keeping us fairly dry. Most of it will be on the coast. Even on Friday, keeping us fairly dry. But if we were to look at the European Forecast Model, Starting Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, and Thursday, it's got some pretty decent rain heading our way. But then possibly drying out again on Friday. So this is where, now we're talking polar opposites at this point. This is when things get tricky when we're looking at the longer range forecast. So with that all being said, when you look at the 7-day forecast, you'll see that I put the chance for rain in there, but it's one of those things we'll have to kind of watch here closely. The Climate Prediction Center seems to be more in line with the European because it is showing us the normal conditions here in the longer range here. So again, we'll see. We'll have to kind of one of those stay tuned type of forecasts. All right, well, you did see this minor drop here out at Lake Oroville, but that's just because we're just not seeing as much rain. You can see just minimal increases here the last 24 hours for Shasta Lake and Trinity Lake, but still very healthy with our capacity and our historical average. Warmer than normal, we're getting there, folks. It's going to happen. We are going to see those 80s in the valley, 70s in the mountains. It's going to be gorgeous, especially for the second half of the weekend and early next week. So hang tight. It's going to get there. We've just got a few more days to get through, and then you can see that big spike in the temperatures right here, and then they drop. So as you can see, as the temperatures do drop toward the end of next week, this is that sign and an indication of the potential for some more wet weather making its way back to the forecast. Looking at the wave heights for today, they're still fairly high. It looks like as we go into Saturday, we're not going to see much change. Now, there is a small craft advisory through this afternoon and evening, but I have a feeling the National Weather Service may be extending that into Saturday because you saw those wave heights. They're really not going to be changing much here over the next 24 to even your 48 hours. All right, so let's take a look at your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. You've got those temperatures in the upper 40s to low 50s for your daytime highs. There you can see, of course, we're looking at the drier conditions by the time we get into the weekend. The North Coast, rain today. Well, really to the south, it's not going to be very heavy. It's going to be scattered showers and then scattered showers here on Saturday, but Saturday is very minimal and most of it will be to the north. Sunday we're dry. We're going to keep it dry through Tuesday. Now to the north, yes, heavier rainfall today. Even for places like Orleans and Hoopa, we're getting all caught up in some of that heavier rainfall throughout the day today. Saturday, it'll be some scattered showers, very light, nothing to be concerned about. And then by Sunday, it dries out entirely. Now, Siskiyou County, we do have the drier conditions here by Saturday and especially by Sunday. Today, temperatures mainly in the 40s and 50s. For Modoc County, you're going to be looking at temperatures today in the mid to upper 40s for your daytime highs. And we take you to the south into the eastern mountains. We've got 49 for Westwood, 57 for Paradise, 46 degrees in Bernie, and 54 degrees in Doyle. Let's take a look at your valley neighborhood forecast to the south, brought to you by Walgamuth Painting. Your temperatures should be in the low to mid 60s for your daytime highs, 64 degrees in Durham, and 65 degrees in Willows. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast for Chico. There's those mainly morning showers. There could be a passing sprinkle this afternoon, but otherwise dry, mainly dry this weekend, much warmer by Monday and Tuesday. There's a look at up to the north. 52 degrees for Lakehead, 53 degrees for Whiskeytown, and 59 in Palo Let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. And temperatures are warming up. We're right around, we could even, I think many of us may touch 80 degrees on Sunday. I did drop it from yesterday, but basically upper 70s to low 80s by the time we get into Sunday. Low to even mid 80s by Monday, Tuesday. And there is that chance for some rain again by next Wednesday. And of course, those cooler temperatures too.
Save more on our huge selection of Nectar, Dream Cloud, Sierra Sleep, and Diamond Mattress. Furniture and Mattress 86, across from the Churn Creek Post Office on Merchant Street, Reading.